Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're on episode number 138. Today is July 1st. My name is Craig Perales, and joining me, Andrew Monteman.
Dude, it is disgusting hot outside. For those of you that don't know where we live, it gets insanely hot. I think it's like 115 out right now.
We were at Denny's pool yesterday, and it was at 112. Ugh. And I'm like, I know it's going to be cooking. Because now that, I mean, it's cool that July 4th is coming up, and it's generally a time where we can go to the river or hit a pool. But it's like, it's only going to hit like 120 eventually. I mean, it always does.
I don't ever get so mad at it as much during the day. It's just when I have to go somewhere, because then you get into your car and it's hot.
Dude, and it's even hotter.
I've been finally using my auto start, even though I've had it forever, and so I started auto starting my car. But what I get more upset about is when I go out at night to do anything and it's still hot, and then it gets humid because there's clouds coming and it doesn't fucking rain. Oh, hey. But then I see snaps of people in California like, hey, enjoying this rain.
Yeah, welcome to Arizona. So, guys, if you are watching the YouTube version of this show, make sure you guys hit like, drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, share if you can, and then hit that notification bell so you can be reminded of all of our future videos, because Andrew has one coming up.
And speaking of hot weather...
You just poked my head?
Yeah, I did. Speaking of hot weather, you can check out our TeePublic, because we have these beautiful shirts that are actually always on sale. And they have tank tops on there, too, that are actually pretty nice.
I got a couple in the closet.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got two, and I kind of want to order some more.
Do it while it's hot.
I wish they would have, like, those, like, deep cut ones, you know, that I like to wear to really show off the tattoos. I think I'm just going to order a couple shirts like that and just slice them up.
There you go. So... check that out, guys, and if you are interested in following us on any of our social media, our Linktree link is in the description of the YouTube video. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And if you guys are listening to the audio version of the podcast, make sure you check it out, whatever podcast platform you prefer. But Anchor is the home for us, and that's where you can find us. And if you'd like to support us, you can do so there. So, before Andrew and I jump into our main topics, we'd like to do What Are You Up To? When Andrew and I take a quick second and talk about what we've been playing, what we've been watching, if we got anything cool coming up. So, Andrew, it's been a minute. What have you been up to?
Actually, this past week, me and Craig decided to buy the Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. It's just a campaign only, as those of you know. It's been out for a while, and we kind of just put it on the back burn. And I was looking for that kind of palate cleanser game where I could just go through, have fun, and not have to focus on anything. And this has really been it for me. I always remember the story being good because I've beaten Modern Warfare 2 like a bunch of times. But it's been a long time, especially on the eve of Modern Warfare 2 coming out now. That playing this, I was like, man, this is really great. And then I finished actually my veteran run that I didn't do on veteran. Cheats for days.
Oh, you were saying something about that earlier, but I thought you were going to be waiting till October to play that game.
I think I'd just rather get it out of the way now, because on top of that, Warzone's been having all kinds of changes, so I felt like I was going to be a lot busier as Modern Warfare 2 was coming out, because we didn't talk about it last week because we didn't do anything busy, but they dropped a new map called Fortune's Keep, for those of you that don't know. It's a Rebirth, smaller style map, bigger than the Rebirth Island. It's actually really, really good. I think it's my favorite map so far, and it really has me excited for what they're going to do with the future of Warzone as far as map design, because I'm really enjoying this one. As far as anything else, I've just been watching old stuff, some current stuff. I finally watched Edge of Tomorrow. I've kind of been on a Tom Cruise kick ever since I watched Top Gun.
Tom Cruise kick.
Because I was like, I never really got why he's that big a deal. Now that I'm watching these movies, I'm loving it, and I love that movie. Edge of Tomorrow was like super dope, way better than I thought it was going to be.
The game, that movie was fantastic.
And I don't know like how I sat on it for so long, or why I just never had gone and seen it, but it was actually really good. And then I watched Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'll tell you right now, don't watch it because that movie sucks.
Oh, okay. I was just about to ask you too, because like when you said that, I'm like, I don't even think I've even heard of it, and I downloaded the video for it on YouTube,
LA
but I didn't even watch it when I downloaded it. I'm like, oh, I'm sure Andrew will tell me about it and tell me it's good. It sucks.
Yeah, it's the one where, and it's not Jake Gyllenhaal's fault. Like, he's obviously the villain of the movie, but he's crazy, aggressive, friendly, like in an uncomfortable way, like almost like a mixture of like Patrick Bateman and I don't know. Maybe almost like kind of how the Joker is. Like, he's very sinister. And, like, at one point, he's, like, crazy good. Like, there's a chick who's like, you know what? I could have just shot you in the fucking head now, but I didn't. So you make sure you have, like, a great rest of your day or something like that. Like, it's that overly sinister friendly. But it's way too long. There's a lot of stuff they could have cut out. And there's lots of really bad dialogue. Not given, but written for the movie. Like, there's this FBI guy. This was the worst line I think I've ever heard. And not the worst line, but probably one of them. there's this dude, he's a part of like SIS, whatever that is, FBI, I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but he's the lead guy who like tracks down people for crimes and stuff, and he's like, you know that feeling you get when you play hide and go seek and you're about to get caught? I'm really good at making people feel that way. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, that is the fucking worst line I've ever heard in my entire life.
That's hard cringe. Like,
I if you want to watch it, give it a chance because Jake Gyllenhaal's good in it, but the rest of that movie sucks.
I feel like I'll watch YouTube scenes of him, and that's it.
Watch that and let me know how you think that dialogue went, because it's the worst line I've ever heard recently.
Terrible.
What about you, yourself?
Oh, so what I've been up to... God, I can't get that out of my head now.
It's been stuck in my head now ever since I watched that movie.
Yeah, that's terrible. So, what I watched is the movie Hustle. It's the new Adam Sandler movie. It is on Netflix. It actually came out on June 8th. Essentially, what the premise is Sandler's been a basketball scout for the 76ers. And it's kind of like his day-to-day life. He's traveling, and he finally...
it's not like a biodoc, right? It's just like a made-up...
No, yeah, it's a made-up story. And his goal is to eventually become a coach. So he goes back and he tells these guys who they should pick, and the main guy's son, who's played by Ben Foster, tells them they should pick this other guy. So eventually they go with him, and it ends up being a bust. But Adam Sandler still got promoted to be a coach. What happens is, since that guy sucks, they actually pulled him back down to be a scout one last time to get the team up and running. So he's cruising along, and he actually he's in Spain, and he finds this guy named Bo Cruz, who's actually like this street ball player. And it's badass. This movie...
it looked good. I wanted to watch it.
Yeah, it's solid. It's got a great cast. It's got a solid story. It's pretty heartfelt. It's full of like emotion. It's like, this is the good drama Adam Sandler stuff. And a lot of people are saying he should be like up for like an award, but... it's also got a lot of NBA cameos, so if people are into like that, like a lot of these guys are actually playing themselves. One of the things I thought was interesting is in the trivia is originally the way they wrote it was supposed to be a Chinese ball player, and I guess at the time Netflix, or maybe they still do, they're not doing business with China, so they actually had to rewrite the whole story to be this guy from Spain, which I thought was pretty interesting.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's cool because I like good Adam Sandler drama, and then I'm like, stick to this, dude. Your comedy days are kind of behind you, unfortunately. And then I'm looking at his IMDb and what he's doing next, and he's got another Herbert. I didn't watch the Herbert Halloween or Huey Halloween Part 2 coming. I'm like, how are you gonna do this and then go do something dog shit like that? So
I didn't watch it, but I kind of want to. I also didn't watch Uncut Gems though either. So
yeah, watch that. Uncut Gems was awesome. So as far as what I've been playing is Fall Guys finally came on Xbox. It came out. It's been out for since August 4th, 2020. It's the game developed by Media Tonic, and it's way more fun playing it on Xbox. I had it on PS5 or on PS4, but I mean I can play a PS4 controller, but I just can't move as fast as I am. I'm so much more comfortable with an Xbox controller, so I don't think I ever won on the PS4, but I'm up to 21 crowns right now on the Xbox version, and I like it because I'm four big ones. I like it because I'm playing with a lot of people that normally I don't play with all the time. Like Daniel's on playing,
me,
you're on. Well, I play with you on stuff. Like Devin Collins is on there, Melissa's on there, Deandra's on there, Dante. So it's a good party mix. And right now they're doing the Halo event to where if you beat all the challenges, it's gonna reward you. I think it's the pink cat helmet, right?
Cat ear helmet. Yeah.
So I don't know. I like it. It's refreshing since I haven't been playing it in the last 2 years. Where it's almost like brand new again, and it's fun running through all these courses.
It's so much fun. That's our game. Like when I get too tired, or maybe it's getting a little bit later in the night, or we're getting our ass kicked at Call of Duty, or maybe we're just not kind of clicking as like a team like we should. That's all one person has to say. Hey, do you just want to play Fall Guys? And we'll all just jump over to Fall Guys, and we'll just play that and compete against each other instead.
Yeah, I've been having a blast with it.
It's so much fun.
Other than that, I think both of us are just going to our 4th of July pool party at Denny's house, so that should be a lot of fun.
That was me waving my pretend flag.
You gonna have any trouble not dipping your hands in the Wawa?
Yeah, my hands, I don't know if you can see them. This one's a little bit train wrecked because it's its first time going over, so where my creases are, it's like scabbing, so I just got to keep my hands out of the water, so I'll be fine, but it's hard to do when it's so hot out here.
Yeah, you're gonna be cooking. So that is it for what are you up to, guys? So leave us down in the comments below what you've been playing, what you've been watching, and what you got planned for 4th of July, and again, be safe, because it's always a time where people like to get wild. So, with that down and out of the way, guys, let's move into our first main story, and that is that Nintendo just had their Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, which aired on June 28th. It was roughly around 25 minutes or so. It showed off, I believe, around 24 third-party Nintendo games that are all coming out between now and next year. A lot of good stuff in there. I don't want to go and break them down completely because it's just a lot of kind of things that are like that Switch is catching up with that they're getting and things like that. But Andrew and I did pick out a couple highlights that I kind of want to dive more into. But before we do that, overall, do you like the mini presentation? Nintendo does kind of keep it moving along, I think.
I think that's always been their big thing is they didn't have like third-party support, so this was really important for them because that's what a lot of it was. And I think I was more surprised too to see a lot of the stuff, even if it's not something important, it could have been something small. It's like as a console launch exclusive on the Switch. There was like 5 to 6 games that were like that.
Yeah, Nintendo does kind of luck out sometimes and get some of the games that are on Switch first for like a year before like Xbox or PlayStation get it. So let's go into which games we liked the best. And since it started off with the new Monster Hunter, I believe you have that as yours. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, they were going more into Monster Hunter Sunbreak and the DLC and the new title update that they're doing. We talked about this kind of last week because Capcom was showing off, or 2 weeks ago, Capcom was showing off some more stuff about it. They just went a little bit more into detail, showing some of the newer monsters, so I kind of just glossed over it. I just want to say, the only reason I even love mentioning it is just how beautiful this game looks, especially for being something on Switch, even though it is on PC as well, that I'm insanely jealous. I'm like, man, why didn't we get this on Xbox and like PlayStation as well? Every time I see something for this, it really makes me want to play it on the Switch, but I don't want to deal with like the party system and trying to find people to play with and everything. It just seems like it's such a hassle on that console that I'm just waiting for whatever the next iteration is on Xbox, and it just gets me super excited because on this, even just watching the trailer, you'll see how, especially if you played Monster Hunter World and that was your first big one like me, the diversity of monsters that they really brought out on this. There's like a crab, there's just so many different things that weren't even in the other one. It's insane. I'm just like, damn, this just looks so good. It's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Did you say it's only on Switch right now? Is that where
Switch
it's starting?
PC.
Okay, that's what I thought. And yeah, I was watching it, what was it, Capcom Showcase 2 weeks ago or something?
Yeah.
Watching it, I'm just like, dude, this is a game that I need to jump back into. And I was talking with Geno, because we gave it a try. I don't know if it's because maybe we were drinking or something, and it just wasn't like clicking, but I'd love to get back into it, because it looks like that high fantasy is like something I'm completely in love with. So
whatever the next one is that comes out on console, we should definitely just jump in together and just progress as like a team.
I would like that. So anything else on that?
Nah, you.
So the big one that I think we have to talk about is Mario Rabbids. It's Mario plus Rabbids, but I just don't like saying the plus.
I usually say Mario but I do know that
because I watched it again on the direct, and it's Mario plus Rabbids, but it's Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and they showed it on Tuesday for part of the event, but the day after, on that Wednesday, on the 29th, they actually had a showcase on it. So if you haven't seen that, check it out because it's actually bigger. It's about 6 minutes. And this is the Ubisoft developed game that combines their Rabbids franchise with Nintendo's Mario franchise. It's the sequel to the Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and it is set to release October 20th, 2022. So I got to say, this game looks great. I like that it took everything from the first game and actually really improved on it, because I was a super fan of that game, and I don't know if Geno got me to play it or I got him to play it, but like I tried to tell as many people that had a Switch to get it. And I mean, the plot is kind of whatever. I don't really dive into these plots with these Mario games, but if you are interested, there's a thing called Cursa, which is destroying the galaxy and kidnapping the Sparks, and you got to save the day. But
I was just thinking in my head, save the day. That's all it really is.
Yeah, that's all it really is. But what I do like is it is sticking with the 3-team setup for the battle system, because what I did like is that they are kind of updating it. So the last game was a turn-based tactile fighting game, but now it's showing that you can actually move in real time. So it showed that the characters, I don't know if you saw the whole thing.
I saw that.
Yeah, they can actually take their movement and dive, and you can do that with every character. And then you can actually take your attack option, which the more you do with that, the more you can kind of trigger these combos. And then the more sparks you acquire, like the special abilities, you can keep going. So the combat just looks like they improved on it, and that's what I like the most about it. I like a Mario game that's not always focused on 2D platforming, but can also be a nice turn-based strategy game. The worlds that they were showing looked awesome. I like that they were showing off that like these side quests are actually going to give you like more reason to go explore the world. So it's not just the fighting and moving level to level, kind of like how the last one was. There's actually a point to exploring the world. And the last thing that I really, I thought was really cool, and I think a lot of people do too, is that all the new characters that they're adding. So in the past game, it was Mario, Luigi, and Peach with all of their Rabbids, and they're actually adding Rabbid Rosalina, a new character named Edge, which looks kind of cool, kind of like a almost like a cloud version or something like that. And then Bowser's actually going to be in this game. So apparently his minions have all been taken over by Cursa, and he wants them back. So, that's what he needs to do to join up. So overall, I thought it looked awesome, and I can't wait for this game. It comes out a day after my birthday. So, if you're looking for a present for me, there it is.
Yeah, that one looked fun. As soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, that's instantly like Craig game.
Oh, yeah. That's a Craigie P game. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is actually the Pac-Man World remake, remaster that they're doing and porting over to the console. And I believe this one is just like a console exclusive for a year. But seeing this game definitely... I had it when I was a kid. I had it on GameCube. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's you're just playing as Pac-Man, except for it's like an open world, but it still kind of has these like platformy aspects to it. It's got like boss fights, and you're just trying to get your family back. Basic story. But it was almost like that, like Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. There was like a few of those games that were like that came out on the GameCube, and they're just really good, and I remember them being like really, really fun. So that was one that I was like, oh, that'll be really cool. That might be one of those games that when I need to like recharge my batteries, again, I have fond memories of it. Maybe because I was younger, so who knows how it holds up. But hopefully, as long as it holds up well, that could be like one of those games like, okay, I'm just going to recharge myself. Something easy, something cool, just like lighthearted. You're just doing whatever, having fun.
What threw me off is I kind of remember the old show with like the baby Pac. I didn't know was that a grandpa? I saw one of them, like he had like the old like mustache.
Yeah, it's like a whole Pac family.
Dude, speaking of Pac-Man, did you play the new one that's on the Game Pass? It's like the arcade version. Oh, dude, it's a little rough. There's a Game Pass Pac-Man game on there.
Is the one that's like really long and like the screen expands? Like if you go all the way to the right, it's like a whole nother fucking board.
No, it's like you're Pac-Man in like an arcade, and you're going up to arcade systems playing Pac-Man games to get scores and challenges to unlock other cabinets and stuff like that. So if you're interested in more Pac-Man, you should check that one out.
Probably not that.
So my number 2, guys, is a game called Blanc. It's an artistic cooperative adventure that follows the journey of a wolf cub and a fawn stranded in vast snowy wilderness. They must come together in an unlikely partnership to find their families. This is scheduled to come out in the Q1 of 2023, developed by Cassis Ludi and published by Gearbox Publishing. So first of all, I like the art style. I think it's bold that they're doing something that's just kind of this black and white, almost kind of fairy tale book looking, and it kind of has this like Fox and the Hound kind of Milo and Otis vibe to it, where it's like these two unlikely creatures are now kind of having to be their pair up and maybe eventually become friends. The gameplay looks like it's going to remind me of like Hazelight games, where like A Way Out or It Takes Two, where it's going to be two separate people relying on the other's ability to get past things, because it looks like the fox is going to have abilities to like crawl and dig into things that are smaller, where the fawn can jump and reach these higher distances. So I like the fact that it is another co-op game, and from what if I'm remembering right what it said from there, it said that it's text free. So I don't know if there's even any words in this game. This might be like a complete experience that is you just navigating these two, or you want a partner navigating these two creatures through these levels, and like you having to find out naturally what it is. No, there's no
like taking it from Dark Souls.
Like in It Takes Two, like if you can't figure something out, somebody might give a hint or clue. Yeah. I'm super curious of how they're going to do that. Maybe like a little exclamation point or something will like pop up to like trigger something. But I don't know. I think it looks really cool, and it's definitely, different. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's almost kind of like the next one that I chose. I like that one also artistically, but the next one I thought was probably the most interesting, like best looking one. It's called RPG Time.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
Legend of Right.
If you didn't pick it, I was gonna pick it.
It's about this kid who's like making his own like RPG, and the premise of the game is it looks like it's all just like hand drawn. So even when the combat's up close, you see this dude swinging a sword, and it says like 11 damage, but it all just looks drawn. And part of the puzzles and stuff that you have to solve, you're like erasing things and redrawing over them. What do you think about that one?
Anything that has hand drawn quality shit, I like. Again, it's another twist on a good turn-based like RPG type of game. When I was looking at it, I was like, this is neat. This is interesting. This is something that I hope they continue to do more of. I like that, like, as you're playing, he'll pop up in the top right of, like, saying the things that, like, he meant to happen or...
Yeah.
So, it looks interesting because it's like, when he's erasing stuff, it looks like you're able to actually... Now, are you the one erasing it, or does he do it as you're playing? I wasn't kind of sure about that.
I think you do it, but it's not like you can just, like, erase, like, anything, the whole map or whatever. I'm sure it's maybe almost like how, like Paper Mario or something was, where you just hover over the thing and maybe there's certain spots you can erase, or maybe if you do a certain motion, it'll draw to a certain thing or something.
I think it's really creative to use something like the kid's imagination of making his own game in his own book, and then just that art style I thought was really captivating.
And that actually, we do have a release date on. That's coming out August 18th, so that actually might be something I end up picking up.
Yeah, that looks super cool. So my final one, guys, is the game Live Alive, which is developed by Square Enix. Now, what I did not know is it's actually a remake of a 1994 game that was on the Super Famicom exclusive to Japan. So it never came out to the West.
I didn't know that either.
When I was reading it, I'm like, release date 1994. I'm like, okay. But yeah, so the game was actually supposed to come to the West. For some reason, it never did. So it looks super interesting. It's exactly the type of games I've been getting into, things like Octopath Traveler, or the game I want to get into, which is Project or Triangle Strategy, whatever that game was called. And this one kind of follows, it's these 8 protagonists from these different eras, and the eras which I thought were really interesting. It's prehistory, Imperial China, Twilight of Edo Japan, the Wild West, present day, near future, far future, and the Middle Ages. So this game's actually coming out July 22nd, so that's right around the corner by the end of the month. So I definitely think I might be jumping on that. I like that they're going into this HD 2D graphics, because like I said, Octopath Traveler was a game that like captivated me. So if it is a remake, it sounds like not only are they upgrading everything, but like I like that they're adding all the voice talent in there too, because some of those trailers were showing them actually speak. The fights, the combat looked interesting, but it didn't look like it was turn based. I don't know how much of you saw. Like he's actually one-on-one-ing people and moving, so I'm curious how that's gonna function. That might be the only hiccup. It's either gonna be, I think, really fun to play, or it might be the most annoying part.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I don't really get how this is working, but I definitely want to see more of it.
Yeah, because in one of them, it was, I think, the present day guy. He's supposed to be like the strongest fighter. It looked like it was just you and like these fighting like these 8 wrestlers or something. I'm like, okay, that'll be interesting to kind of see. But I do like that look, and it's the game closest to us, so I probably will check that out. So
yeah, aesthetically, I really like that a lot. Especially again, like you said, Octopath. You know, those ones. That Eiyuden Chronicle one, not the one that you played, but the new one that's coming out. Yeah. That are following that path. I'm super excited.
And some people like hate it. Some people are like, this style is being overplayed, but I'm like, I don't think so. If you're lending it to the right game, I think it's perfect, especially any type of game that looks like it's going to be kind of like lean towards like 8-bit or like 16-bit graphics. That style is perfect for it.
I can agree with people saying that it's overplayed, but that's only because people are just now kind of doing it, that there's a handful of them out there. But what's wrong with having something like that? It's like how horror is finally like really kind of truly making a comeback and being popular at the same time.
You say horrors?
Horror.
Oh, horror. It's kind of like these horrors. I was like, whoa, Andrew.
Horrors too.
This is a family-friendly show.
Like how horror is coming back, and this is also kind of making that resurgence. So it's nice to see. You know, is it a bad problem that now I don't just only have Octopath to play and to choose from that's only like this? No, you know, I've got a couple.
Yeah, the fact that they're taking this game that most people have probably never heard of is kind of interesting. That I wonder if, you know, with this graphic style, if they can pull old games out from like the Super Nintendo catalog and start remaking those, like Golden Sun and things like that, and put that on the HD 2D graphics. So there's a lot of potential here. So that was everything for the 3 and 3, right?
Yeah.
So guys, that was the Nintendo Direct highlights for us. If you guys have not seen it, the link is in the description. There was a lot of other good stuff in there, so it's not like we weren't trying to shine light on anything else. So if there's something you liked, leave it in the comments down below so that we can have a conversation about it. So
the one thing I did learn while watching it,
talk to me, my man,
is because they said near. I always say automata.
We've been saying automata.
Automata. That's how I learned it. When the guy said it, he's like near automata, and I'm always like automata. Is how I've always been. I'm like, oh shit, I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time.
I've always been near antonima. Is how I've always said it, and it's like there's no end, so I don't know what I was thinking. So the next story, guys, we want to get into is that the Halo Infinite co-op is coming for a limited time only. So starting on July 11th, there's going to be a 10-day beta that you can actually sign up for and get playing. Now, I may or may not do it. I doubt I will. There was a video that leaked, and it showed the co-op, and I think overall it was looking pretty impressive. The reason I don't think we're going to use it is because when I went back to show Andrew the video and the link, that guy's site was terminated. Yeah. So I don't know if it was terminated because he leaked this, but we didn't want to risk that, especially with these numbers going up. But there is a link in the description of somebody else watching the video on a TikTok. So if you haven't seen it, you can click the link and you can watch it.
It looked good though.
It was running just fine. Before I read their news, what did you think about the gameplay?
If that's what they've been working on, it looked really good. It looked like they were just running fine. I don't see any problems. What I really want to see though is because the person was far, but they were never. I'm on one mountain and you're on another mountain far. That's what I want to know.
I want to gauge the distance.
I want to gauge the distance. What is the range? Because you can see them like picking out like a vehicle to ride in together, or one person's ahead of the other one, and they're like zip lining to each other, so that way you're just like rooster boosting yourself up the hill and stuff. So I just want to see like what the distance is. I wouldn't imagine it's across the map, but if it's like 40 feet, then no. But if it's this really, really far thing, then I don't know. I'm super interested that once it drops. I don't know if I would play the beta, but once it drops, I think I'll get in there.
Nice. So this comes to us from Kotaku, and this is what they had to say about the co-op. It says, good news. Starting July 11th, you'll be able to play Halo Infinite online with up to 3 friends as part of a beta test. And even better, you'll be able to replay missions from the campaign too. However, here's the bad news. This is a limited time test of only 10 days, and you'll need to restart the entire campaign to play online with others. As announced earlier this month, Halo Infinite devs 343 Industries are preparing to launch a short but large-scale campaign co-op test for Halo Infinite. If you don't remember, this is the latest entry into the sci-fi shooter series. Was the first to launch without any campaign co-op mode after 343 delayed it last year. Since then, the plan has been to add co-op to the game during its second season. This will be a 10-day test running from July 11th to July 21st on Xbox and PC, and it's the next step toward co-op and other campaign features finally being added to the game. So I think the biggest question is going to be, because we are in Season 2, is will it make it to Season 2? Will it come out this season, or is it going to be maybe early Season 3? But from what I was seeing, it looks capable enough. I mean, for the short amount of video we got to see, it looks playable.
I hope so, because as Halo's got lots of good word of mouth, there's lots of bad word of mouth out there with Halo, because while they're focusing on this, they've even put out like a statement saying, sorry, we are really focusing on this. We haven't focused, we're not currently working on like the G-Sync issues with people playing like multiplayer, or there's some people who even go to load the game in and it'll take like 5 minutes to load in. Other people it's faster. So they need to hurry up, get this thing out that should have already been out. It needs to be excellent, and then just go from there and just start hammering out all these issues and like really craft this thing into a diamond, so it doesn't just die from, it's been long enough, we're just going to kind of abandon it. Because as it stands with their Season 2 plan structure, it was kind of like bare bones. I mean, we went over that already as it was, to where we felt like there should have been a lot more. And the only reason I could assume there's not is because they were working on this stuff. That hopefully, like I said, they just hammer this stuff out. By the time maybe Season 3 or whatever comes around, you're going to have, hey, here's how we're going to make it up to you, and have this fully fleshed out thing, and it's going to have everything in the kitchen sink now, because now we've already took care of all the stuff we promised you.
Yeah, so they definitely need stuff. They've been getting kind of hit hard. I know even people that are buying the microtransactions, even the stores like increase in price. So I mean,
it's like fluctuating.
Yeah, they're losing quite a bit of people. So this would be a good way to get them back. So if you guys are interested in trying to sign up for it or play it, and I'm sure by the time next week goes, that'll be the second week after that, we'll have some gameplay of it. But if you're looking to get it, step 1 is make sure you're signed up to the Halo Insider program. Step 2 is to ensure that you have the entitlement to Halo Infinite, the campaign, i.e. you have purchased it or have an active Xbox Game Pass subscription. Step 3, if you're participating on Xbox, have the Xbox Insider app downloaded and opt into the network co-op flight program once the flight is live. If you're playing on Steam, you'll be sent a unique key via Halo Insider Communications to download the flighting build. And then step 4, simply launch the build, party up with friends, and jump into Zeta Halo. So I'm hoping between the few of us that are still really into Halo, that we can at least get, into the inside. Because I know I'm signed up for it. I think you are too, aren't you?
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get some gameplay and we can at least try to talk about it when it does officially launch. So, I mean, it would be kind of cool. 10 days would be easily enough to smash that campaign. So I think it's plenty of time.
Or at least play enough time and be like, this runs like shit, I don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, do the feedback and say, stick that back in the oven. So Anything else you want to talk about with the Halo co-op? So, guys, that is our second main story. So, if you have any thoughts on Halo campaign, if you've been waiting to play it, if it's something you're interested in, definitely jump in the comments below and let us know your thoughts. So,
if we don't get into the beta and you do, definitely maybe send us some footage that we could use or something, or at least tell us about your experience. Would love to hear it.
Love it. Yeah. So, let's move into riffing it up, guys, where Andrew and I take a small second to talk about some smaller stories, kind of put it on your radar if maybe you missed it or you haven't heard of it yet. So, Andrew, would you like to go first or second with your riff?
I'll go first because mine's pretty quick. Over at EA, over at EA, they put out an update trailer on Skate 4, just kind of saying, hey, you know what? We know we announced it before. We're still working on it. There's a little bit of footage that kind of shows how the gameplay's coming along, and they're saying, no, we understand you and what you're wanting. We're trying to build it the way you want it to be, and hopefully, rightly so, it'll come out and it'll be a good game. Definitely check it out. It's only a minute and a half long, but more importantly, what they were talking about in it is they're now going to have an insider program that you can sign up for. Unfortunately, it is only for like PC and I think through Origin that you can do that. So for any of you out there that are super interested in that, or if you want to do me a favor and play it and then let me know what it's like, definitely get in there and do it, because this is something I'm super excited for, especially because I went from Skate to playing Skater XL, and it's a completely different style of like how you flip around and do tricks and, you know, do everything, that I'm almost worried about like going back now. Like, is it going to feel as good even if the game's better, newer, and this is a full $60 game and not a small dev team like Skater XL? Am I going to hate it now because I'm so used to the other stick movement? So let me know if you get in there.
You got a PC, why not try jumping in?
I got plenty of other things going on.
I'm a console man through and through. Yeah, I thought it looked interesting. I thought it was kind of cool that they were showing like the build setup, and then it would kind of like shift into like what it would look like, and then it would go back. What I didn't get, because I think who was ever narrating was like, you can do more, and it showed somebody like on monkey bars or something. Did it look like in this one, can you get off your board in the other one and do shit?
You can get off your board, but you can't do anything. So I wonder if that's kind of what they're doing, is like that whole, I mean, like Tony Hawk Underground, I think, kind of started that. And I hope that that's maybe just like an afterthought thing, because I don't want to climb around on monkey bars and shit. But that would make sense and be like kind of a cooler aspect to get off my board, maybe climb up onto the roof of this building, and now I can kickflip this gap from here to there or something like that. I don't want to like climb around at a fucking jungle gym, but if it's something like what I just described, then yeah, I'd be all for that.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. Is there anything else on that?
Nah, yourself?
So mine, guys, is that Gotham Knights just let out a new kind of gameplay trailer of Robin, and because they've been kind of exclusively showing off Nightwing, so you actually got to see Robin's fighting skills, which I thought was actually looks better than Nightwing, actually. But the first thing I guess it kind of slipped my mind is I was under the impression this was Damian Wayne as the Robin, but once he starts talking, I'm like, oh, this is clearly Tim Drake.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I would have thought that, but I mean, with Red Hood in there, I thought maybe that's the way they were going. But it was kind of cool because they did kind of show that his ability to kind of travel and move faster is, he has like this warp, like teleport ability where he's saying that like he's mixes like gear in with like the Justice League Watchtower, so now he can do that. So after watching that, I thought he actually, with like the bow staff and all that, I think he was looks better to play than Nightwing, which is who I was originally kind of geared up to play.
I think so too. I really like that it, like if you watch the gameplay when he hits someone with the bow staff, it has that effect of like that like bending kind of around. The warp,
that guy got cried. Dude, they are killing people in this game, dude.
The warp, they explained it fine enough to where I'm like, cool, I can let that go, that's fine. But the more I see of it, I'm like, dude, why couldn't all four of these guys just fucking zipline around? Like, I wouldn't care. It's the Batman way of doing things, especially with how good it feels to like jump and like glide from
A. Like Spider-Man, kind of like shoot off like.
No, like just do it like Arkham Knight did. Where you're just zip, you're zip lining yourself everywhere all over.
Zippity doo dah.
You just zip yourself in the air and then you just fly from A to B. It's like, why can't any of these guys do that? And I wouldn't care if all four of them did, especially with how good flying felt in all the other Arkham games. Because that's almost sometimes one of my favorite things. Is I'll just.
But not all of them have capes.
I'll just sit there and fly around. Well, who doesn't?
I guess Nightwing and Red Hood don't have capes.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
The only thing I was thinking, if they do the Spider-Man ripoff, where like maybe like they get something like between their arms and they can glide or something.
I don't know, but get rid of that fucking Fortnite glider. I'll settle for this. This one is better than the other two. Fucking the Immortal Jumper and the Fortnite glider.
Yeah. So if you guys check it out, I thought it looked pretty cool. It made Robin a little more hype for me. So with that being down and out of the way, guys, let's move into our questions of the week. And this one comes from, and if you guys want to submit a question, feel free to leave it down in the comment section of our YouTube. You guys can email us at lastproductions@gmail.com, or you can at me at Craig Perales on either Twitter or Facebook. Or
LastCallProductions@gmail.com.
Is that what I said?
No, you said Last Productions. Oh. You skipped call twice.
Okay, I know something sounded right. LastCallProductions@gmail.com. So this question comes from Richard K, and they write, with the two new shows, Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, and Lord of the Rings of Power airing so close together, which do you think will be the better show? So I did want to, I'm glad you brought that up, because Game of Thrones show is airing on August 21st on HBO. This is the Targaryen prequel to Game of Thrones, which is happening 300 years prior. And then the Lord of the Rings show is airing September 2nd on Amazon. And this is thousands of years of a prequel from Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, taking for the first time ever place in the second age of Middle Earth. So they've got about, a week or two of buffer zone. I don't know. Have you seen both the trailers for these?
Yes.
What do you think?
I think that Game of Thrones is going to do better because obviously they've learned, but out of all their shows, they had arguably one bad season that people complain about. Lord of the Rings had 3 fucking bad movies with the Hobbit movies. I haven't heard anyone rave about those. And it's going to be the first season of them doing this show from something that's like unproven that people are going to flock to. So I have more faith in Game of Thrones than I do in Lord of the Rings. Not that I think either are going to be bad, because Lord of the Rings, I think, looks really, really good. I just know which one has a proven track record of actually being good.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to say, because I'm with you that last season, for a lot of people, didn't do it for them. So it is kind of hard to be like, okay, well, George R.R. Martin has nothing to do with this anymore. So how are they going to do, because they were... they had to pivot. They got the story up to where they got it based on all of his stuff he wrote. And then they had to pivot, and they did what they did. This one, they get to start with whatever they want and kind of create this background lore. I'm curious if it's the same writing team, though. Is it the guys that was doing Game of Thrones from season 1 to 8? Because if it is, then I've got a little more trust than that. As far as the Lord of the Rings goes, I know Amazon spent a ton of money to get these rights. So I've got a feeling that the budget and the performance and the look is going to probably be better with Lord of the Rings. But after watching the trailers, I didn't see, unless there's one I missed maybe, I didn't see anything really too interesting about it. Just
looks like the Lord of the Rings.
Where the Game of Thrones one, the House of Dragons, I'm like, oh, cool. I want to see the House Baratheon and House Stark and all these other kind of guys come together. So I think the one that everyone is going to instantly like better, it will be Game of Thrones, because it does have that closer show that we just got off of that everybody loved. Where, like you're saying, look, what's the last hot thing Lord of the Rings did? The Hobbit movies, which were lukewarm for a lot of people, because although I do like, and I think they learned their lesson, is that they're bringing back hardcore practical effects. There's no more. They're not CGIing the orcs anymore. They're actually going to put people in costumes. So that is the other twist. When we get the next trailer or two, Lord of the Rings, once we see it, might be like, oh shit, that's the Lord of the Rings I remember. So I think Game of Thrones will be the more popular one, but I think Lord of the Rings has the possibility to be the better one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add on that?
No, either way, I'm excited for both, and I think both look better than that Resident Evil show that's coming out here next week.
Oh, so thank you for the question, Richard K. So, guys, that is the end of episode 138. Join us next time for episode 139. So, until then, guys, my name is Craig Perales. That is Mandrew Montemayor, and until next time, cheers.
Happy 4th of July. I don't really want to watch Morbius, but I feel like I have to. The only thing I see, and I know it's not in the movie, is everybody's like, it's Morbin time. And I'm like, and everyone just posts that everywhere. And I guess it's from a scene where you kind of can't understand him, what he's saying or something like that. And so that's what everyone says, and people keep putting it in subtitle. People put that shit everywhere. I watched this other dude who's a big streamer, and he was telling people to send in presentations. It could be on anything you want to. And someone they're supposed to be 2 minutes long, and someone just condensed Morbius and fast forward to 2 minutes, and it started playing. He didn't know what it was, but you just see it in the comments instantly light up. Everyone saying it's Morbin time.
Oh, That's which.
And I hope that's in the next Deadpool is a line.
The trailer looks awesome. The trailer looks like really, really good. And then it's like weird that many people said like it sucks that bad.
I wonder if I haven't heard people say anything about it. Like I wonder if it's like Jared Leto that's bad. I know people were complaining like, oh, he's holding up production.
Yeah, he was like actually walking like because he's a method man. He's a purist.
And I get,
which is weird, but I mean, okay.
I get both sides of like the argument for that. Like, maybe for some people like that's what they need to like really like get into the zone. You know,
AutoZone.
Oh yeah.